This is Sean from Vorga, and you're listening to The Dan Chan Show.
I have Sean from Dystopian Black Metalers Vorga. How are you tonight, mate?
I'm not too bad, thank you very much.
Cool. Now I'm confused. I thought, you're all German, but it turns out you're English. It's a German-backed band, and I believe your singer is neither. Tell me more.
Yeah, so I mean, I moved to Germany about 10 years ago. I started the band originally, so yes, I'm British. I was living in Scotland at the time when I actually
Okay.
started. And our singer, yeah, he's Bulgarian.
Right.
Um, so yeah, he's been part of the band for quite a long time as well. We've always been a kind of multinational outfit.
Yeah.
It's just sometimes we get labeled as German black metal.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah. I can believe it. Whereabouts in Germany based?
near the city of Karlsruhe, so it's kind of the
Oh,
southwest.
Karlsruhe. Yeah, look, as I said it off record. I'm a massive fan of Germany. I love the beer. I'm a massive schnitzel fan. So when I was in Frankfurt a few weeks ago, and I'm straight there for a beer and a schnitzel. I can't get enough of it. But so tell me about the history of the band. You're from Scott. Are you Scottish born and bred, or
No. I'm from the south coast originally.
So I'm going to say so you're from Britain, shall we say, in general, and you moved to Germany. Did the band start in the UK?
It kind of did. It started with me in the UK, just kind of messing around and trying to, create some songs basically. And it was only after I moved to Germany that I decided it was going to be more than just a kind of digital release kind of thing, and I wanted
Right.
it to be a big thing.
Yeah.
So then it was only after I moved here that I started then looking for band members.
Yeah. And was it easy to find in Germany? It's big. Karlsruhe is quite remote, isn't it?
It's not too bad. I mean, there's Stuttgart nearby and things, and
Yeah, of
the
course.
metal scene at least is feels a bit stronger here than it was in the UK when I left it, at least.
Sure.
Especially when I was living up in Dundee, it was
Mm.
possible to find metalheads there, I think. But
Yeah.
but yeah, it wasn't too difficult. It wasn't too difficult, must be said. Yeah.
Now I love the sound. It's really refreshing. In a world that's got very similar genre, sounds and everything that goes for one sound. How did you get to that sound that you decided on? What was the vision from the start?
The vision from the start was always to kind of make, let's say misanthropic black metal, but with a kind of view up to the stars. Let's put it like that.
Okay.
So, I mean, originally, I wasn't really sure what I was making. So originally, I was just playing the stuff that I liked and that I knew. And I kind of found I wanted to put more of a kind of spacey twist on it, let's say. But I would say that the sound's also kind of matured over the albums, and I've kind of found my style a little bit more as I've gone along.
Yeah, sure. Now you released the last album, Beyond the Palest Star. Was it over a year ago? Was it March? Was it April, May last year?
I think it was March last year.
March last year. So how was the album received, and how much gravitas has it given you to where you are now?
I think the release has done very well. Certainly looking at kind of sales and things like that, it's been very positive, and reviews and scores and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's been great for us. I've got to say, it's been really, really positive. Off the back of that, we've been able to play some really cool festivals. And I think we've just kind of cemented ourselves in the kind of German underground black metal scene a little bit more.
Yeah, and with regards to that, obviously, how are you evolving and what's coming next? You've got to be writing new stuff. This stuff's got to be in the pipeline. So what's the timeline going forward?
The timeline is kind of whenever I can get it done, basically.
Right.
So,
Okay.
I am working on new material now, and I'd say I'm more than halfway through the next album. I would like to get it released next year,
Right.
but I'm notoriously slow.
Right.
So let's see if that happens. There's also kind of a lot of moving parts. It's not just the music; it's then the artwork and the
course.
the music video.
Yeah, of course.
all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of bringing all that
So,
together.
do you write solo yourself and then bring it to the band, or do you kind of keep it all like your mushroom management kind of way, or do you like spread it out?
No, I kind of keep it to myself. I mean, especially as I started it as a kind of solo project with a solo vision, I kind of wanted to keep that and maintain that vision that I had from the outset, basically. So without diluting it or kind of giving in to other people's wishes, I just wanted to say I want to maintain what it is that is my vision in my music.
Yeah.
And then if it's shit and everyone hates it, then it's on me. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, well, I'd say the only kind of exception to that is really the drums, because I'm not a drummer. So
Yeah.
I do what I can, and then I hand it off to someone who's far better than me and say, please make this better.
Do you find it like cathartic doing it on your own, or do you sometimes wish that you'd started this with a band that you could like share the responsibility, or do you like it that way?
I've got to say I like it that way. Like I said, because it's kind of a singular vision, especially with
Yeah,
Vorga, it
yeah,
is my thing. But I do lament not being in a band that shares that duties and everyone's got more of a stake in it because that's also fun, kind of creating together is also something very
of
different.
course
And
it is.
yeah, I'd love to be a part of that too. It's just, yeah.
At this moment, that's happening. So themes. I would say I think I know where the themes are coming from, but can you just elaborate a little bit on that for me?
The themes in the lyrics, the music, or
Yeah,
just.
both. The whole vibe. I mean,
Mhm.
you look into the stars, etc., etc. Tell me more about that.
I mean, for me, it's always been quite an easy marriage, the whole kind of black metal and space. At
Yeah,
least when I look up to the stars and you kind of ponder it at night, it does feel like you're crazily insignificant, and that kind of insignificance is what I wanted to try to get across in
yeah.
the music. So just marrying that with, the kind of nihilism.
Yeah,
That
I think it works well as well because obviously the traditional Norwegian black metal is forest, dark atmospheres, vast lands. So I
yeah,
can see where the vision comes from. It's very cool.
cool.
So do you all live near each other? Is the Bulgarian singer is he in Bulgaria or are you quite close knit?
We're all relatively close. I mean, our current slash previous drummer is about 4 hours away. He's the furthest away, but the rest of us are all kind of around Karlsruhe, so
Okay.
within an hour and a half of each other,
So
let's say.
nice socially. Do you socialize? Get
Yeah,
the
yeah,
old beer
absolutely.
gardens go because I bet the weather's good now. Those fantastic German beer gardens must be a plenty with fluid flowing.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, we had a barbecue just at the weekend, actually, all three of us together. So
Nice. Love it. Love Germany. So live wise, how busy do you get with your shows? Because your shows, your visual and everything, the brand looks phenomenal. So how difficult it is, let's start on that. Is it to take that live because it's so visually encapsulating?
Um, I'd say it's relatively tricky, but at the same time, I don't know any different.
Yeah, sure.
I wouldn't want to kind of water it down, let's put it like that. But it is a lot of work, and when we, play and tour with other bands, they're always like, "How much stuff are you bringing inside?" And then we
Yeah.
have to spend, an hour or so building up lights and plugging in DMX cables and all that kind of stuff. So it
Yeah.
is definitely an extra bit of effort, but for me, it's worth it to kind of bring the whole concept across.
And the nice big pentagram at the front. Is that a light?
Yeah, yeah, it's an LED pentagram.
Sound. I love that. So obviously we're going into the shows. Are you busy with shows? Do you have you kind of like spent all your time on the shows now from the last album? Are you looking forward to writing now? You're not doing as many, or have you got shows ahead?
Yeah, we're kind of ramping down, let's put it like that. So, I mean, we do have the possibility of a tour later this year, and we've definitely got some good shows lined up. A few smaller festivals around Germany, maybe in Belgium and other places, and
Yeah,
definitely open to playing. But at the same time, we're not packing the calendar just because I need free time to write new stuff. So,
sure. I get that.
yeah, we're kind
So
of.
as I said, the look is strong, shall we say. How long does it take to get stage ready for all of you? And obviously, some of these venues that you play, I'm formerly a band member myself, and I know what some of those dressing rooms are like. How do you manage to all crowd around a mirror, or how does it work for you?
Oh, it's hard work. Yeah. Um, it takes us usually we book about like 1 hour before changeover is when we start getting changed and doing the makeup.
Right. Okay.
I mean, I'm
Yeah.
pretty good by now. I can probably get it done in about half an hour, but some of the other guys need the full hour, and then we're ready to go.
Yeah.
But that also means that we then have to make sure that we're also warmed up and we've got the lights built in, that we've eaten if we need to eat,
Of
and all that kind of
course.
stuff. So
Of
it's
course.
it can be a busy night. And yeah, I mean, worst case, we've got our van and we can put our mirrors in the van and do
Sure.
it in the van if we need to.
Of
But
course.
it's not
And the
not.
anonymity, was that always going to be that, or do you class yourself as anonymous, or is it a case of just it's just how you look?
Um, yeah, I don't really consider us anonymous, but at the same time, I'm not keen to post so many kind of candid pictures of us out and about having fun, if you know what I mean. Like I'd
Yeah.
want
Yeah. I get that. I get that. I get that.
reserved mystique, let's put it like that. Yeah.
So let's go back to your personal journey into metal. How did that start for you? Have you been prolific in bands, or have you, was it? How did you get into metal? Let's go down that route.
How I got into metal, I
Or how,
can't.
what was it? What was, especially this route anyway.
So I mean, for as long as I can remember, at least I was listening to metal from at least an early age, my early teenage years. Let's put it like that. And then I started to pick up the guitar. And then I ended up hanging out with some friends who were into the more extreme side. So I guess I started listening to the traditional new metal kind of stuff that was around
Yeah.
at the time, the Slipknots and things like that.
Yeah.
Uh, Ended up hanging out with some friends who were listening to more kind of Death and Black and that kind of stuff. And that's kind of where I changed direction, I guess, at about 16, 17,
Yeah.
and got deeply into that. Um, so that's kind of where the music passion started. And I mean, I still love a lot of the stuff that I used to listen to as well.
Yeah.
Um, and I started playing guitar from about the age of 15, let's say.
Hmm.
Um, I haven't been prolific though. Like Vorga is my first band, and it was kind of
Okay.
formed out of me going, well, I'm 30 years old and I've been playing guitar for ages and I have done nothing with it. So kind of shit or get off the pot, basically.
Right. Cool. That's awesome. I love that. So obviously in Germany now, what's you kind of touched on it. What's the underground metal scene in Germany like? Because obviously Berlin has a scene, each city has its own like vibe. What's it like for you?
I think it's fantastic. I'm blown away by it when I kind of discovered how far-reaching it is. There's always people willing to come out.
That's important.
And there's plenty of places that are happy to put it on. There's a lot of passionate people. I'd say it's not just about metal in general, but I think generally Germany has a lot of these kind of niche hobbies that people can be very
Definitely.
passionate about, and it just
Yeah.
happens to be that metal's one of those.
Sure.
And so it's great. I mean, you might not always get the biggest crowd, but you might be in the middle of nowhere, and people will still turn up. So it's
Cool.
really fantastic. Yeah, absolutely love it.
And how have you integrated into German life? How was it for you? Was any culture shocks, anything? And obviously things like I know that on Sundays things are very quiet, especially in some towns. On a Sunday, you can't get certain things. That's frustrating. I'm in Spain, but I can get everything I need 7 days a week.
I mean, I still rage about Sundays. I'm still being a Brit, going, "Why aren't the shops open?"
Yeah,
It's just how it is. You get used to it. I mean,
good
I'm
plan.
I'm lucky. My other half, she's German, and I've known her for 15 years, 16 years, something like that.
So that
So
was the reason you moved, right? I take it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, it's an interesting place to be.
yeah.
I do miss the UK sometimes, but at the same time, I'm very happy here. We get lovely summers, there's lovely countryside, and there's
Lovely beer. It's
lovely
fantastic.
beer and a great metal scene. What more do
Exactly. What
you
more
want?
do you want? Let's be honest. Now, I've got some candid questions for you, Sean. Can you cope with a few candid chat
Go
things?
for it.
So, if you could choose one song to play every time you walked into a room for the rest of your life, what song would you choose and why? In other words, one of your favorite songs, I suppose it is.
Yeah, yeah, I guess.
Or, like riff or something like that, some stink face riff. You walk into a room and because you've not mentioned any influences yet, as
Yeah,
in like band wise. So this is a tap into that really for me.
yeah, yeah.
If you're struggling, we can move on, but then
All
tell
right.
me
Yeah,
tell me a couple of your influences.
yeah, yeah,
Some
absolutely. I mean,
bands.
stuff that's been crossing my mind is stuff like Gorgoroth and Immortal and
Yeah,
Emperor and stuff like that.
sure.
Um, so yeah, I mean, I'd be happy with I Am the Black Wizards blasting every time I
Yeah,
go
that
through, I
sounds
guess.
good to me. Now, what fictional character do you identify with the most and why?
Let's say Captain Picard.
All right, we'll go with that. That's good
Yeah,
enough for me.
yeah, too
Now,
close.
do you have an unpopular musical opinion?
An unpopular musical opinion. I mean, I like a lot of music, and I think that every genre has redeeming qualities. And
Yeah,
I'm not
fair
one to
enough.
say this style of music is
Very
shit.
diplomatic, mate. Very diplomatic. Okay,
Um, so I
but
guess that could be that could be a kind of divisive opinion in itself.
yeah, I suppose.
I mean, I think genres are overrated. I
Yeah,
think
fair enough.
trying to identify genres and classify things,
Yeah,
it's yeah, hugely overrated.
yeah, fair enough. That'll do. What would your death row meal be?
Death row meal, probably a really good steak.
Yeah,
Uh,
and if it had to be German themed, what would it be?
oh God,
So,
I'm not the biggest fan of pork, but
oh,
there's
okay.
that over
Have a
here.
chicken one then.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe Spätzle. I like a good Käse Spätzle, actually.
What's that again? What's a spätzle?
It's
I know
like
what it is.
kind of pasta noodle type things with cheese and bacon and things.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds good to
Very
me. That
hearty
sounds
and
good to
nice.
me.
Yeah.
Now, have you done many shows on the road? Are you prolific with gigs? Have you got a lot of that or not behind you?
We've got a fair few under our belt. Yeah, definitely. We've covered a lot of Germany, it has to be said, and we've been trying to reach out more and more to go
Yeah,
to Netherlands and Belgium and France and Switzerland. And we played those areas too. I mean, we recently came back from the UK. We did 5 dates in the UK with
yeah,
Sidious.
yeah,
And I mean, at the moment, one of the things while we've got a bit more downtime is can we reach a little bit further away? Because
yeah. It's go. Yeah, I understand that. There's so many people would love to see you live with your sound. I'm sure. Now, okay? With that all in mind, what's the funniest thing or strangest or wackiest thing that's ever happened on the road for you?
oh gosh, road stories. we've definitely had some uncomfortable back rooms.
That's
Like
yeah,
backstages. I remember I think we were in, or might have been, is that Czechoslovakia? I can't remember. One of those.
yeah,
There was a tiny cupboard for everyone to get changed in, and there was, I think, six bands. Um,
really,
in like a room that half of a, kind of normal bedroom or something. It was absolutely tiny, plus everyone's gear.
yeah.
That was not fun. Um, Other funny stuff that's happened. I mean, I can't think of anything exceptionally funny. The guys like to drink and party a lot, but I'm not going
That's
to,
no, no. Keep it at that. Keep it at that.
Yeah.
What's on the bucket list for you guys? What do you want to achieve? What do you want to do that you haven't done already?
In terms of like gigs and festivals, I'd definitely love to like get on a bigger tour.
Yeah,
So we'd love to, maybe go on a support tour with a bigger band. That'd be a fun thing to do for like,
yeah,
3 or 4 weeks. We'd love to play some more bigger festivals. We've knocked a couple of big ones off already that we, really respect, like Summer Breeze and Partisan and Inferno in Norway. But
sure.
Hellfest, for example, that'd be a dream come true.
That'd be awesome.
Motorculture, that's another great one in France.
Uh-huh.
Wacken, of course, some of
Any
the
of the
big
big open air ones, you know what I mean?
yeah, exactly. They're always fun when you're playing to that many people and it's that loud.
I
It's
know.
a
It's just awesome,
crazy
isn't it?
experience. Yeah.
I love it. So, okay, what three words do you think describe the band the best?
Um, Melodic, atmospheric, dark, I guess. Yeah.
That's good. Works for me. Now, what one Vorga track should I play next and why? Or what one Vorga track sums the band up the best?
I think magical thinking.
Yeah,
Uh,
why?
because it's got a kind of a good split between the ambience and the kind of more emotive side and then the aggressive side as well. It does a lot of everything in that track and it kind of gives you a bit of a showcase about what the music's about.
Amazing. Finally, the most important one. What's the most used emoji in your phone?
I have no idea. Probably
Most people check their phones at this point.
okay. I mean, I don't even know. You know what? It's the smiley face with the tear,
Oh,
like the
that's
laughing face.
that's good. That's good enough. That's good enough. I love it. Listen, Sean, thanks so much for joining me, mate. I really appreciate it. Good luck with the next album. I cannot wait to hear it. And we're
Thank
going to be playing plenty of you on the show. And good luck. I hope to see you on the road at some point.
Awesome. Thank you very much for having me on.